In episode number 315 of the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, we cover the X-Men Dark Phoenix trailer.
And last week, we got our first look at Joaquin Phoenix as Arthur Fleck. And of course, naturally, a day later, they released the full Joker makeup look. And we have our thoughts on that, including the throwaway of our crazy theories last week.
And our comic shop highlight this week, we bring back Dwight's Comics for an interview.
All of this and so much more on today's show.
Hello and welcome to the Podcast Award nominated 2018 in Games and Hobbies. That's a mouthful show. The Reasons I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we are broke every single week, ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and so much more. I am your Emperor Palp Kelli.
And I am Darth Vader Daniel.
And for those of you joining us for the very first time, welcome to the show. The way we formatted is first we're going to start out with some news. We're going to have our Brocat block and our Patreon shoutouts and a comic book store highlight of the week.
The day that this episode publicly releases, which is on a Sunday, is the same day as the Podcast Awards 2018. So if we ended up winning on the Games and Hobbies, this is the latest episode that is going to be highlighted in that category. Next week, we'll know for sure, and you will hear our celebrations or woes in number 316. But with all of that out of the way, let's head into our news for the week.
We're going to start out with some video game news. Originally released on the Game Boy Advance and the Nintendo DS, the Phoenix Wright trilogy will be releasing as a collection on PS4, Nintendo Switch, Steam, and Xbox One.
The games are going to be slightly cleaned up for display on HD televisions, set to release sometime next year. Fucking love the Phoenix Wright trilogy.
Did you love these games? I don't recall.
Now, longtime Brokettes know that Palpa Kelli fell asleep many times while we were playing the Phoenix Wright games.
No, only during Miles Edgeworth. I was fine with all the rest. It was just fucking Miles Edgeworth with his walking around. Not even his handsomeness could keep me awake.
Well, that's not included in this one. You see him fighting against you, and you can say, "Hold it! That's bullshit, Your Honor!"
Objection!
To anyone that hasn't played these, it is almost like a point-and-click adventure up until you get into the important and fun parts of the game, which is actually in the courtroom, proving your client's innocence, and you only apparently take on innocent clients throughout the entire thing.
Of course.
And you use logic, reasoning, evidence to somehow turn these cases around in these amazing ways where you defend people that are like, "No, I killed him," and you're like, "What the fuck are you doing? You're making my job harder, you fucking asshole. All right, let's play this case for 10 hours and try to get this idiot out of fucking the grasps of Miles Edgeworth."
I have so many fond memories of these games because we had just started dating, like when they really started to release in the US. So we would spend hours just being teenagers, sitting around playing these games. But I was fucking great at them, remember? You'd be like, "Oh, we gotta figure out this shit." I'm like, "It's that right over there. Just right there. Just click on it." And you're like, "What? That makes no sense." I'm like, no. Just click on it. And that's when you learned how awesome I was. That was the beginning of it.
It was the beginning of listen to your wife, even when you know you're right.
Even though I wasn't your wife yet,
right.
The universe knew. It's like someday you will have to listen to her all the time for everything and you'll get no say. So just start doing it now. These are really fun games. If you guys like puzzle games, if you guys like action, I don't know. They're a lot of fun.
They are a lot of fun. If you did not play them on the Game Boy in Japanese, on the Nintendo DS, even on the re-releases for the Wii, and I believe even the Wii U, they had a few go up on the Virtual Console. This is the perfect package, and this is the thing to get it on. They do look great. It's got the same voice acting. It's got the same graphics, but again, cleaned up for HD. And it is honestly a very fun experience. It is not an action game at all. It is very story-based. I would say, I'm trying to come up with there was a Hotel 311 for the Nintendo DS.
Yes, I remember that.
I forgot the exact title, but it was very similar to that. If you like the Monkey Island games, for example, you will like the Phoenix Wright games.
What was the one that we played on the PS4 with you had to save your kid because he was drowning in a sewer?
The one with the paper crane.
Yes. What was the name of that game? Rain something.
Oh,
something rain. Rain!
Not Purple Rain. It was like Dark Rain, Heavy Rain.
Heavy Rain. Yes, it's kind of similar to that, but not as tough.
And not as dark or fucked up.
Right. You didn't have to cut off your fingers in Phoenix Wright.
I like how the religious nut was like the bad decision we made.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, but that guy was crazy. And they're like, no, you could have talked him down. And I'm like, no, when I tried, he went even nuts. And the game was like, well, you're supposed to keep trying. And I'm like, I'm not going to take that fucking risk.
That game,
lose my fucking kid.
That game threw us for a fucking loop. I don't think I could play it now. Like, I know what happens, so I could play it. But if I hadn't played it and then played it now that we have a kid, I couldn't do it.
My favorite of Heavy Rain is that the characters were actually scanned actors that exist in real life. And then they just, animated their faces and everything in the game. They even acted out a lot of the roles. So if you look up these actors, they look like the characters.
Oh, shit.
And one of them, the main detective guy that you play, the older, bigger guy, he actually played a detective on a TV show too. And it's like, dude,
Perfect.
Make a fucking movie out of this. It's already a movie. Like, it's been years now. So even the younger-ish characters, like the parent-aged characters, are now old enough to be grandparents. So that won't really work. Unless you do like Heavy Rain Grandparent Edition. Like, then it will work. And I want to see that
Heavier rain, because they've all gained some
Heavier, saggier rain. Absolutely watch that shit. But yeah, get Phoenix Wright, please.
So, wait, back to the Phoenix Wright. So these are just the ones featuring Phoenix Wright, right?
Yeah,
what was
the
second one? The guy with the bird hair that I hated.
Apollo Justice? You didn't like Apollo Justice?
I didn't like Apollo Justice.
That was actually my favorite game.
Yeah, he was weird.
That was the fourth in the series. And that was after Phoenix Wright. It takes place years after the trilogy.
Yeah.
He retired because of a blemish in his whole career, which when you solve it, it cleans up his career and he can come back to being a defendant.
And he can stop wearing that fucking beanie with the smiley face on it.
That was the funny thing, is he became cool all of a sudden in Apollo Justice. And it's like, no, he was this crazy fucking...
Well, what probably happened was he got, lost his lawyer's license, right? Got kicked out, started doing some drugs and sleeping with some hoes. And then he became
Lost his virginity finally?
Yeah. Fucking finally. He was hanging out with all these big-boobed women all this time, but nothing.
I loved Apollo Justice. That story had me from beginning to end, whereas in the Phoenix Wright games, which were more difficult to me, I don't know, maybe they were easier to others.
They were pretty hard.
But Apollo Justice, I had way more fun with. I like seeing where the characters went after all these years, especially Phoenix Wright. And then you find out that mystery that sets it up for the second one, which I guess Apollo ends up being the villain in the second part where you play Phoenix again. That's the one we never went back to. Like, we've bought all of these, but we haven't gone back and actually beaten them. So maybe when they do the second trilogy, that might be when I go back and it's like, all right, let's go ahead and actually properly finish this series. And there's even been a game that they never released in the US that takes place in Japanese samurai times.
Cool.
Where it's like the far off, not descendants, but ancestors of these same characters. So you get like the Phoenix character in that time period.
That's so cool.
But that's one they never brought over because the cultural...
I want to play that one.
I know, me too. The cultural translations would not fit as well because it does take place in such Japanese lore that we wouldn't really, I guess, get it here.
I don't care. I'll play it.
Yet they brought the Edgeworth games, which I'm really happy about. But I know those did not do quite as well.
Because they weren't the same. They changed up the format.
What fans have been doing instead is actually translating them themselves and doing like a PC download of it that is obviously illegal, but that's one way to play.
That's awesome. Why don't you just buy the Japanese one and then illegally PC download it, and then at least they still got their money?
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
That's really how you do it.
I'm so smart.
Something else you can download right now is a Halloween celebration for Dragon Ball FighterZ. Every character in the game is going to get Halloween-themed colored costumes as a free DLC. You wanted them to wear pumpkin heads and shit. You wanted, like, Scarecrow Vegeta.
No! I wanted alternate costumes.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but they're just doing Halloween colors. Goku's already in Halloween costume. Is his sash going to become black? And ooh, he's orange and black.
It's mainly like orange, purple, and green.
Yeah. No, nobody. Piccolo's already purple and green. Jesus, they're doing nothing. No, Vegeta needs to be in like his bad man outfit.
How much did this cost them?
$0.
It cost you $0.
Oh, it cost me $0?
Yeah, this is free DLC.
Oh, well then fuck, whatever you want to do. If you were going to have Vegeta in his Dad Jita clothes, then yeah, $5. Here you go. Kelly, you don't even play the game, but it's Dad Jita. I need to support Dad Vegeta.
I know you don't count GT Vegeta as canon, but do you at least respect Mustache Vegeta?
Fuck no.
Do you at least respect the scene in which he's driving with his daughter and like those hooligans drive up and they're like, "Hey, baby," and she's like, "Hey," and then Vegeta gets really mad and blasts the fucking car.
Yeah, because she was 13. She was like,
do you count that portion of GT?
Yes, that's fine. No, I prefer Dad Vegeta in Super, where he's like, "Let me change this diaper." Like, he was fucking watching videos on how to change diapers so he could change his kid's diaper. He even gave up fighting to be home for the birth of his child.
That's true.
And Goku, he was just like, "I'm gonna fucking die. Like, deliver this baby on your own. See ya."
Is that not out of character, though? It's all about Vegeta, like, yeah.
The whole story is about Vegeta's transformation and becoming a better person. Like, he was a shit person. And he'll never make up for that. Let's just not even kid ourselves. He will never make up for wiping out millions of civilizations or having... But he's there for his family. Like, the whole show is just this wonderful testament to how much he changed because he loves these people.
Here's one thing I'm going to ask you as the Vegeta Bulma expert. At the beginning, she fell in love with the asshole, right? The villain. He was a villain even back then. He was only training to defeat Goku, and that was his main thing. And that's who she fell in love with. And even she, like, argued with him. But obviously there was some attraction there. Where she was...
Okay, so let's rewind. You're saying fall in love as if they weren't fucking before they fell in love. Because clearly that's what it was. He was a rebound from Yamcha.
Sure. And now that he is vastly different from the character that she ended up fucking and falling in love with. Is that the same person to her? Did they grow up? Did they grow old together? What happened there?
If we're going to be here all day,
did they grow closer?
How long do we have? So I think we're going back to the initial problem that you're saying she fell in love with the bad boy. She was attracted to the bad boy and they, hooked up and did whatever. But do I realistically think they fell in love until she saw this other side of him? No. Obviously they're in love now, but I think that happened even far after Trunks was born, right? So
after, because he was kind of an asshole then too.
After Cell Saga and all that stuff, when she realized, okay, this is who he is underneath, like he's not who he's making us all see he is, like this bad boy who's just going out and blowing up shit. Because realistically, I don't think Bulma could ever fall for somebody like that, because at the end of the day, she wants what's best for the world and humanity, right?
Right, because she's a scientist and inventor. Yep.
Of course. But the more she gets to know Vegeta, because obviously that's not who Vegeta really is. He's this guy who cares for his family and the people around him. So she wouldn't have fallen in love with him till she sees that guy. But does she sleep with him? Hell yeah.
That's true.
I mean, they're both good-looking people. Like,
did they continue sleeping together after Trunks was born? Or do you think there was some... Because even then, he was like... He didn't care about his kid. Remember when I think it might have been Cell or one of the androids went to blast...
It was one of the androids.
Went to blast at Bulma and little Trunks, and he did nothing. And it was Trunks like, what the fuck, dude?
Why didn't you save them? Now, I don't know the real reason behind it. I will tell you the best fan fiction explanation that I've ever heard.
So this has been explained already.
In fan fiction, okay. Sure. I read every Bulma and Vegeta fan fiction.
That's why you're the expert.
So the best explanation I've ever heard from fan fiction is... In Saiyan culture, if you react to something like that, then the enemy knows that they're important to you, and that's what they go after.
But then if you let it burn...
Listen, but he knew that, like, somebody would save them, but the android can't know that that's important to him because that's who they're going to go after, right? But if it's so ingrained in your mind that that's what you have to do, obviously. Now... Moving forward, now we're with Beerus. That doesn't happen anymore, clearly, because Beerus backhands Bulma and he loses his fucking mind, So
same with future Trunks when he gets killed and Vegeta loses his shit.
That's my baby boy!
Poor fucking Vegeta in Dragon Ball Abridged, because they cut his scene. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it is exactly what it sounds like. They recreate the whole sagas and they redub over the characters, but they kind of build a story with it and they build their own jokes with it. It's not Mystery Science Theater. It's actually almost fan fiction, but working with what you have.
Right.
And they shit on Vegeta all the time. All the fucking time. Like, the creators clearly don't like the character. And in that huge scene where, even though it's his future son and it's not really his kid, he has his child as a baby over here. As soon as the main villain in the series murders his adult kid in front of him, and that's another thing that he also I don't know if he couldn't react to it because it came out of nowhere. No one expected Cell to really be alive. But that's when I guess and that's where I don't know if that, I think that falls apart, that fan theory about the Saiyans. And it's like, no, I don't want to show that I care, because I think that's when he realized that he did care about his kid and his family, that they did mean something to him. And he was too focused maybe on the fight.
He also, something you have to realize in that is he's now had a year with Trunks. So he's had a year to really kind of change to be a different person, because they were in the time chamber. You know, it's only a day for us, or 47 Dragon Ball Z episodes. But it was a year for them. So I don't know. I could go on about Vegeta all day. And we haven't gotten that far yet when he's fighting Goku Black, but he does something else for Trunks in the fight with Goku Black.
Does he really?
Yes. Where you're just like,
can you just tell me? Because I don't know when that shit's going to hit VRV.
When it shows up in DVD, whenever that is.
All right. I guess I'll wait.
I mean, you want me to tell you?
I'll wait.
Okay.
I'll wait.
All right. Dad Vegeta.
The other thing, just to close off the Dragon Ball FighterZ DLC that is coming out, is developers are adding the Galactic Arena stage, which, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong, is when Goku was fighting in the afterlife. He fought against Pikkon. Or it could be Dragon Ball Super, in which they do fight in that.
That's probably
what that is.
One.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you also get a Halloween-themed lobby avatar. So that's what you were looking for, in which you do get, like, Android, who's the Mohawk? Is that 17? 18? 19?
No, you have 17 and 18. He's 16.
Okay.
Mohawk is 16.
He's Frankenstein in this lobby
so
avatar.
Perfect, but he has a heart of gold.
They have those set up, so you get your sort of wish. It's just not a fighter.
I don't play. You know what game I want them to release? Dragon Ball Z The Sims. And then you would never see me again.
We'd have to cancel the podcast or find a new host. And the quality would immediately dip.
I emerge like 7 years later and Leo's off to college or something. Mom, where have you been? Vegeta and Bulma. That's all you need.
Another thing that we all need, and it's because it is going to be a finale to the world that 20th Century Fox has built. We had a debut on the Late Late Show with James Corden from 20th Century Fox of the first trailer to X-Men Dark Phoenix.
So this is set in, X-Men First Class. It's
Correct.
Still that world, which we loved First Class. That was a great movie.
That's my favorite X-Men movie.
So like you said, this will be the last one released by 21st Century Fox before X-Men shifts over into Disney's Marvel. But the trailer looked great too. I was really excited for this movie.
I know Apocalypse, I think is the last one, was not received as well. I know we weren't too crazy about it. We still wanted to see Matthew Vaughn return for the sequel to First Class, in which he would have kept Azazel, he would have kept a lot of the characters alive that he had set up in First Class, but because he went on to do Kingsman instead, he never returned for the second one. They changed the script around. They went even more forward in time than what he wanted for his script. And I think that's where it's like, damn it. Like, we had this very nice vision set up, this very period piece of the X-Men, and they have since kind of tried to tie it in more to the previous continuity, like the Hugh Jackman Wolverine. And we even had the returning cast members of Older Storm and Older Beast in the future movie. So it's like, God damn it, they really had something going here. And since then, there hasn't been one as good as First Class. However, they're still not comedic fucking mutants that we're going to get when they hit Marvel Studios. We're not, this is the final, like, pseudo piece of, like, okay, any semblance of art. This is it in the world of X-Men. If you liked Logan, that is it. You're not going to get another Logan under Marvel Studios. You're going to get X-Men Ragnarok. You're going to get, ow, I broke my claw, bub. Just kidding. Adamantium. These don't break. It's a good movie because I found that joke funny and I like the action scenes. Oh, greatest movie I've ever seen. You have such a magnetic personality. Magneto! Fuck. Piece of shit movies. We're about to get even worse. You didn't like Apocalypse? Just wait till Disney's. Tell me that shit is going to be a good movie. Fucking nonsense based on their track record. So this is, as they said on Twitter, breathe it in, everyone, because this is the final bit of it.
It still looked really good, really dark movie. Seems like it'll be really heavy, but we do have, the returning cast of Xavier and Magneto and those characters that they set up so well in First Class. We still have those same actors, and it seems like we're going to kind of have that same feel that we've had from First Class.
It's set to release on February 14th, 2019. I know a lot of the Marvel sheep are saying, so is this how they kind of end the universe with Dark Phoenix? And a lot of people are theorizing that maybe the Phoenix brings an end to it all. I don't see that happening.
I don't, because by saying that, you're giving too much credit to the fact that Disney's then going to take over. Them taking over that movie should not affect this movie at all. They need to put together a movie that's a great movie.
Plus, they were making this when there were still negotiations happening on whether or not even anyone was going to buy them. They're not going to make a film and kill their franchises like, oh, well, we might get bought out, so rewrite the script so that it's the end of the universe. That's not going to fucking happen.
Right.
They built this in mind of if we don't get bought out, we still need to keep building these pieces and setting them up. If this ends up being a blockbuster, then we have to make the next one. They're not stupid, and that's what this is going to be. It's not going to be a, and now they get moved over to Marvel Studios. Not going to happen. You're not going to see Iron Man show up. You're not going to see Thanos. None of that.
I really think that even when we switch over to Marvel Studios, you're not going to have the same actors playing these same characters. That's just not going to happen, which is unfortunate because they're great. They were cast very, very well, but it's going to be gone. You're not going to see it.
The Marvel sheep wanted this. Have at it then. Goodbye. They did this.
Enjoy.
Something that your Emperor and I will be enjoying. This is more of our comfort zone, our comfort level right here is the DC Universe, our warm home, right? This is where we're getting more of this content. According to writers Glenn Ficarra and John Requa, the script to the Joker Harley Quinn film based in the DCEU is complete. So this is the Jared Leto and Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie relationship that you especially enjoyed in Suicide Squad.
So we do have a quote here from Ficarra, who explained, quote, "It is great. The whole thing starts with Harley kidnapping Dr. Phil, played by Dr. Phil, hopefully, because her and the Joker are having problems with their relationship. We had so much fun. I don't know if we have had more fun writing a script in our career. It was sort of like we wrote Bad Santa a couple years ago, and it was that sensibility mixed with our This Is Us sensibility. We kind of meshed them together. We were doing a relationship movie, but with a sensibility of a bad Santa, fucked up mentality, and deranged people. It was a lot of fun." End quote.
I'm a tad bit concerned with the Dr. Phil. Like, I don't want this to be... I don't want this to be...
It's fucking hilarious.
Because it reminds me of Medea, right? And I love the Medea movies. They're better than a lot of the MCU ones, but that's also like a comedy. And it's a parody. And it's not what they set up in Suicide Squad. It's not that relationship. However, this is just a quote. It has nothing to do with what the script will end up being. That's just my one, like, tiny concern there.
Here's the thing that I would argue back with that, though. So I can see how that would be concerning, but in my eyes, right, Joker and Harley, as dark as they are, there's still humor there. They're still, quote-unquote, funny, right?
Dark humor.
So it's very dark humor. So this... it could easily be dark humor, right? Dr. Phil can't act worth shit. So I'm not saying that his part will be great, but it's a very Harley thing to do. Oh, we're having problems. Let me pick this fucking TV therapist to come in and fix our problems, right? And I'll just fucking kidnap him and tie him up, and then it'll turn into this big thing.
I will tell you, I love Bad Santa. It is my favorite Christmas movie. It's one of my favorite comedies. And because it is a dark comedy, much like American Psycho, I mean, the Santa just... he gets drunk and then he goes off on these kids, on these moms, hitting on underage. So James Gunn might actually enjoy this. But it is such a funny fucking movie that if it is as funny as Bad Santa, like, I'm all in. And that humor is significantly different than what we get from Disney.
This is really interesting, the quote that he says, because he, said Bad Santa meets This Is Us. I enjoy Bad Santa for what it is, and I love This Is Us.
There you go.
I sob through that entire show, right? My mom can't even watch it because she cries so hard. But I can't see the two of them coming together. So we'll see. I don't know. This Is Us did premiere earlier this week, by the way. I'm an episode behind. It might be on Hulu. Oh, I'm so excited.
This movie still has no release date, but Birds of Prey is said to be gearing up for production at Warner Brothers right before Joker and Harley Quinn gets going, so we're guessing 2020.
Speaking of the Joker, Suicide Squad director David Ayer has apologized on Twitter for Joker's damaged tattoo in the design.
On his tweet, he read, quote, "Yes, I have to fall on that sword. It was one step too far," end quote.
It was fucking fine. Calm down.
Stop apologizing, David. Like, you had a vision. You brought it out there. A lot of us really enjoyed it. Don't listen to the bloggers. Don't listen to the reviewers. Don't listen to the sheep. One thing that did spin out of this, though, is that his vision for that relationship between Harley and Joker was not fully realized. And now he's actually speaking out and saying there was a different bit of Suicide Squad that you saw in that initial trailer, which we especially liked, before they added all of the pop music, which is what we got in the final product, which we still enjoyed, but we still want to see as well the Ayer cut, if you will, of that darker, gloomier, like more serious Suicide Squad that wasn't set up with all of these different filters where it all looked like that trailer and all of that pop music suddenly thrown in there. Like, you see the history of Harley Quinn, which I'm sure all of these histories were shorter in the final cut, of like doon doo doo doon 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 doon. Okay, so we're gonna get Harley's story with all this pop music, and that album did end up going platinum, so they made a shit ton of money on it.
I mean, I enjoyed the music in the movie. The thing is, if they hadn't done that, yes, the film would have been in a very different direction. It would have been good as well, I'm sure. But I still like the direction they went. I think it very much fits the theme of the team, which is they're all fucking insane, right? And so, yeah, you got these insane filters and this insane music, and again, the album went platinum, so it worked out.
The reason it wasn't a disaster is because they went back and changed and cut it up differently so that it matched the trailer that was more positively received by audiences, as opposed to trying to make it into an MCU movie, which is what Justice League ended up being. That was the disaster, so.
You know why it wasn't a disaster? Because you had Will Smith there going, no, 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 no. My favorite part of that. I got chills right now just thinking it's my favorite part of the whole movie.
Happy birthday to Will Smith, by the way.
Is this his birthday?
He just hit 50 years old this week.
He's still a good-looking man.
Black don't crack. What they
he
say.
And his wife. His wife is fucking gorgeous, too. Fish Mooney. That's not a
That's
real
her name, yeah.
But she was gorgeous in that. Now I'm going to have to watch this movie. Damn it. I gotta do homework and go to sleep tonight. Don't let me watch Suicide Squad.
We gotta say, David, just stop apologizing for all of these things on Twitter.
And here's the thing. He won a fucking Oscar for...
His fucking movie won an Oscar. His goddamn movie won an Oscar.
For makeup and, like, costumes and shit.
Right, and again, he had that... Him and the cinematographers had to set up these scenes to highlight that makeup, to highlight these characters. All of that is a win for the whole team and for the whole production, the actors. Even though, like, people are like, yeah, it's just for makeup. It's like, yeah, but think of the collaboration that went into this.
Did they see Killer Croc?
Amazing.
Like, that was not CGI.
Fucking amazing.
It was so cool.
If you guys don't know the history behind the damaged tattoo, in his sort of setup with the Joker's relationship with Batfleck, it's that after the Joker murdered Robin, and you see that in the movie, it says killed Robin for both Harley and Joker, and he explained it as Jason Todd's death. After that happened, the Batman beat the Joker up so bad that he took out all his teeth, and that explains the grill that he has. And the Joker then tattoos damaged on his head, as if saying, look at what you've done, Batman. You've ruined this beauty. And that's how he explained the tattoo, which you don't see in the movie, and maybe you would have seen in a Batman film, I don't know. Very different than what Zack Snyder was saying, in that it was Dick Grayson's costume and not Jason Todd's. But it's all irrelevant now, since it looks like we're not getting that playing out in the future. There seems to be a change now with Birds of Prey. We're still getting the Batman film, and maybe we'll get answers that way, or even in this Joker or Harley Quinn movie, but it's still something that's like, David, you're fine. Stop speaking out on this and just move forward, man. Like, do your Gotham City Sirens, if that's still happening, which it sounds like it is. Haven't heard any word on cancellations on it. He's still attached, so let it be.
Switching over to a different Joker, less than a week after our first look at Arthur Fleck, Joker director Todd Phillips took to Instagram to release makeup camera test footage of Joaquin Phoenix as the Clown Prince of Bel-Air. I mean, of crime.
What a fucking reveal, man.
Yeah.
Like, what a goddamn reveal. Like, it's a beautiful, short, little camera test of Joaquin, Arthur Fleck standing there in his, I guess, failed comedian type of outfit. And then you have the camera test that they filmed separately, and then they superimposed it very creatively with like a type of shutter effect. And then you see the Joker slowly revealed. And DC fans have since broken it down and kind of put together the different motions that he was doing.
Of course they have.
Of course we have.
We all become fucking Batman detectives when this sitting in the dark in front of our little computers like, if I break this down, this is what it really is.
It's our minds racing, you know?
And then like our
it's that higher thinking.
Everybody's wives walk out, sir, would you like your dinner? No time, Alfred. Like, I'm your fucking wife.
And a day later, they started filming that subway scene that TMZ then supposedly leaked on the internet. We now know that, of course, TMZ is owned by Warner Brothers. So a lot of people think that this was all a setup to get positive buzz around the movie.
Yeah,
and it fucking worked.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. The other thing that I was thinking before I learned about the TMZ thing, which they could still be independently operating from the rest of this because they are still their own company, is that they knew that as soon as they started filming these outdoor makeup scenes, that different paparazzi would get a hold of that footage anyway. So they might as well reveal the Joker on their own terms, which did not happen with Shazam, right? In Shazam, they saw the outfit and people criticized the shit out of it. And it's like, guys, get it under the fucking proper lighting and it's not going to look like that.
Go
like,
to your little bat computer.
So they got ahead of it. They revealed it. And the buzz has been positive. It's crazy. It has been like, the one thing that I did point out of all these fucking people, I don't see him as the Joker. It's like, yeah, no shit, you don't see him in the fucking makeup. And then now you get the makeup reveal. Well, I was kind of against this movie at first, but now I'm for it. It's like, no shit, Sherlock. Like, and that's the other thing too, that I'm also, like, think for a fucking second, because one, if you are really against the idea of a Joker film, truly, like deep in your heart, a makeup reveal should not change your mind.
Right.
But for all these people, it does. And I don't understand that. It's all superficial. It's all about the look.
Yeah.
And I don't fucking... And that's why I never get these fan casts. I never listen to them because all they go with, that character is bald. He should be Lex Luthor. That character is bald. That actor is bald. He should be Xavier. That's how these people think when they cast.
Well, because they can't see past that. I mean, obviously that's why none of these people are casting directors,
exactly right?
But they can't imagine it in their head.
And that's why when people ask me, like, who would you have? I'm like, I don't fucking know. I'm not going to guess. I'm not a casting director. I'm not going to do that job. Like, you just find me a good actor that can play that role, and we'll see how it plays out when it comes out.
I mean, obviously we have the actors that we feel can play pretty much anything. For example, Tom Hardy, right? We're going to see him in Venom because we like him as an actor and we believe he can play
anyone.
Pretty much anything. Hugh Jackman paired with Aronofsky. We're going to go see anything that they're in because, again, we like him as an actor. But to sit there and say, Kelly, who would you cast? Or, of course, we don't know. We're not seeing them act out this role.
Ask me who would direct. Darren Aronofsky, Guillermo del Toro, Scorsese.
Well, let's Guillermo. Aronofsky is...
You're telling me...
He's a little too out there.
You're telling me Aronofsky's a worse director than Guillermo?
I'm not telling you he's a worse director. I'm saying I would like a superhero film to be seen by a wide audience.
Don't cater to the average Joes. I want a good movie above everything else, because that will stand the test of time.
Get some Guillermo in there.
Or Aronofsky, who both are good choices. I'm just saying I would prefer a better movie. I think Aronofsky makes better films.
I'm not disagreeing with that. But Aronofsky also has people eating babies and people doing the hoo-has on stage and all this other stuff that he would put in his superhero movie also. You can't tell me that he wouldn't put some crazy-ass symbolism and a lot of sex in a superhero movie.
Probably.
And then nobody could go see it.
I would see it and I would enjoy it.
I know you would.
Good.
It would be good for you. I'm not discrediting your love for Aronofsky because he does make great things, but he does not make movies for not even the general audience, just more than the general audience. He makes it for a very select audience.
Very niche audience,
right.
Correct.
So you can't do that with a superhero movie.
Well, what I do like about this particular Joker movie, and it's more in line with trying to create a good movie as opposed to making it fit into this universe or making it cater to this audience, because that's one thing that now the Marvel sheep are saying, and we talked about it last week, aside from like he's old, they're not saying that shit anymore. Now they're saying that too bad he's not in continuity with the rest of the DCEU. This looks really good. It's like, fuck off, you don't think that. If it were in the DCEU, you would be shitting on this completely.
Well, why are they changing the Joker already?
Exactly.
Leto must have failed.
Leto wants out. He wants out. That's what it would have been. He's quitting along with Cavill and Ben Affleck.
Yep, all of them. They're gone.
So in this case, it's like, no, this is out of continuity. They're not tied down by everything else that's been set up in all of these movies. And that's what we said last week. He's not going to sign up to a Joker 2. This is just a standalone movie, which is what they've been fucking asking them to do anyway. Like, why don't they just take their time and make their own? It's like, yeah, they're fucking doing that over here. Fuck off already with that shit. And that's what has me excited about this Joker movie. And we're getting the Harley Quinn and Joker one in continuity over here as well.
I'm so excited. My heart is full.
So you can choose which Joker you want to see, or you can be like us and it's like, why not both? Enjoy both if they're both great.
You're like that little girl on the taco shell commercial. Why not both? Did you ever see that commercial? It's so fucking old. It's not really that old. It's a few years. Do you remember that one? The family can't decide if they want to eat a hard taco shell or
a soft one,
out of like a boat, like a bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, why not both? And so it's a fucking like bowl-shaped taco shell. It's just flat on the bottom, so it stands up because we can't hold our taco shells when we fill it up. And then they like play mariachi music. They're like, yeah, she's a genius.
Look, authentic.
Yes.
Dan Brereton inspired the look for this cover, or this Joker, it looks like. Few years back in 2015, I believe, might be 2005, there was a book called One Bad Week, in which it did have someone spiraling down into insanity, taking on this clown persona. It wasn't exactly the Joker, but it's pretty much like The Killing Joke retold. And he was the artist for the cover of the book. And it does look exactly like Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, so they're saying that maybe that was the inspiration to it. I know Brereton took to Instagram and said, hey, this looks exactly like mine. So I don't know if he was exactly reached out to for making, or at least consulted in this, or even paid for it. But that's where we seem to see this Joker spin out of. And it is also let's talk about the design. It is not a bleached Joker like we had theorized last week with The Killing Joke.
So what we have seen is not a bleached Joker, right?
Yeah.
So potentially, this is still the very beginning of the movie. Potentially. I don't know. I'm not friends with fucking what's his name that you're friends with, Jeff Johns. I don't talk to him. Yeah.
We have that's something we're going to talk about too.
So we may be seeing the very beginning of the movie, right? Where so the things that we've seen, he's in, clown makeup. He's in a phone booth. It looks like he's having a terrible day. And
he has like a headgear thing, not what we saw in the reveal.
It's a bald cap with a dumb clown thing, both of the clown hair, right? And then we've also seen him getting off a subway, shooting up the place.
Well, terrorizing the tunnel, yeah.
Right. So who's to say this isn't the beginning of his Joker career where, yes, he's being a mobster and doing all these things, but the accident hasn't happened. If the accident is going to happen, just like I said last week, I foresee it at the end of the movie, right? He falls, he actually turns into this clown, and then that's where we have my epic scene of him laughing, the screen goes black, and then he cries. I'm still holding on to that. This needs to happen.
I do think that's still going to happen. However, now after seeing these new images and the makeup they're going with, I actually think that is going to be their Joker, because one, there's not going to be a Joker 2, so it doesn't matter. But it is going to be a character study of Arthur Fleck. And at the beginning, it is going to be this stressed out character in that clown makeup. But something happens and he doesn't bother to even clean. Like, he just tosses that off, and you can see it runs in the final look. And in that shot of him in the phone booth, it's very neat. So it sounds like this is all one bad day, much like in The Killing Joke. And by the end of that bad day, it's just running makeup because that's it. That's that same fucking insane day for him.
But how much more powerful would it have been? Like, he puts on this persona and then maybe at some point in the movie, he's like, I hate this. I don't want to do this anymore. But then he falls in the vat and that's who he is forever.
It could be. Yeah, like that makeup infuses with his action. It's possible. And then we might get that.
That's just who he is. And then it's like, well, fuck it. This is just who I have to be now because obviously this is what I meant to be. Oh, I got chills. Why am I not writing this movie?
Some people pointed out that in that scene where he's jumping out of that subway train,
Mm-hmm.
and you see someone in the background getting mobbed by these different characters, and he's kind of like convulsing or might be getting kicked. It might be someone overacting a bit, but people are theorizing that might be Joker gas that might CGI later on into the scene.
That'd be cool.
Or it could just be what's most likely the case, in which it looks like Thomas Wayne is running for mayor. He is putting these people together and rallying them against the mayor for whatever reason, whatever it may have been. It might be that 1% type of thing again, and that we saw in The Dark Knight Rises, but instead it's the Joker kind of putting this all together. So one thing that we might get is Thomas Wayne getting his. Maybe he's corrupt. I don't know. People are asking, are we going to see little Bruce Wayne in the movie? And some people are even concerned with this as saying, well, the Joker's already this old. How does that fit with Batman when he gets, like, no, none of that's going to happen. We're not going to see this Joker fight Batman in Joker 2. This is all, think of it as Gotham. Like, yeah, we get older Penguin. Yeah, we get older Mr. Freeze, because they're never going to meet Batman. They're never going to see that. And that fight is never going to play out on the big screen. This is just that character's study, and that is it. You have to stop thinking about the bigger picture. I know it's difficult because it's comics, right? It's all based on these characters, but that is a standalone movie that we're going to get next year about Arthur Fleck, about the Joker, about this particular Joker.
But what if Bruce Wayne died and now Thomas Wayne is Batman?
So be it. Great.
I don't foresee that happening. There's not going to be a fight with Batman. I think it's going to be primarily Joker and GCPD, if anything.
Right, exactly that, or the mobsters that we might end up seeing, and maybe we don't even get that. Who fucking knows? I know we got a shot of Gotham as released by the director as well, and a bunch of the streets are named after different actors, authors.
Of course
There's
they
Nolan
have to
Street.
be.
There's a Snyder Street as well.
I look at every single comic panel with a street or a store in the back, and 90% of the time it's named after somebody. You have to do that. Why not?
Even in the Arkham games, there was Dini's, and he wrote that game too. It's like, fuck yes, man. You gotta pay respects to the past, to the people that have built this universe. Without them,
of course,
you don't have it.
Also, in the back of one of the scenes that Bobby pointed out, we made it in there because obviously you have to name things after people who have helped build it, right?
Right, we were talking about the subway scene. But
yeah, so in the subway scene, there's the reasons I'm broke.
You see, I'm broke right in the back. It was meant to be for you guys to notice in the movie. It was meant to be a shout out, but unfortunately TMZ did leak it out. And this was to build up more hype around the movie. Like, holy shit, the reason, like, there it is. And my shout out for reasons I'm broke. I'm definitely in. So I get it. I understand why they did it, but I would have preferred that, because Jeff and I worked this out to have that in the background of this movie. And all right, you got spoiled a little bit early, but consider this the very first cinematic shout out for the Brokehead Core. That's how strong the Brokehead Core is. They show up in Todd Phillips, Joaquin Phoenix, probably Oscar nominated performance. Who knows?
Well,
Too early to tell. But
after your role in Aquaman, they had to, right? They got to put you in something else.
After they moved out Snyder's thing, it's like, look, we're gonna have some pull here, man. You can't just change up this whole universe and this vision and not expect some kind of give on your end. So I was like, let's at least give the Brokehead Core a shout out. Like, this is something close to our heart, and we got to have that up on the screen. So now you've seen it. You will see it still on the big screen, as I said on Patreon. It is no less special when you watch it next year. We had to acknowledge it, and Bobby's sharp eyes, very, very, very sharp, noticed it right away, like, hey, what's this? I'm like, oh, there it is.
Is that his new nicknames? Bobby Sharp Eyes.
Among many. He's also the amiibo hunter.
Oh, yes.
He's many things.
So thank you, Bobby, for, spoiling it for everyone, but pointing it out as well.
Celebrating it is what I'm going to call it. Celebrating the Brokehead Core culture.
This movie is set to release October 4th, 2019, so about 1 year away.
One last thing I do want to point out with this Joker look, since this is the last bit of news before we move into the Brokehead block for the week, is that this particular suit is different from what we've seen as well in the previous films. Like, normally you do get the purple, even in the Dark Knight trilogy. In the Dark Knight, you do have the Joker in purple and green. And in this case, they went with a much more, I guess, eye-catching red that is, I guess, maybe a little bit closer to Romero's from Batman 66. Even that's a bit of a stretch. So what do you think of this difference in, I guess, look? It's a minor thing, like who the fuck cares?
Right.
But I do want to talk about that kind of maroon look to the Joker this time.
I personally thought it looked fine. I don't see a problem with it. I guess if I had to try and pinpoint why they went this direction, if you think about it, and so let's say he's a failed comedian, obviously, right? But he doesn't have a lot of money. What kind of stupid suits do you find in a thrift store, right? He's going to find something that weird ass color, and that's what he's going to wear to work for this thing. So for me, it's a very realistic thinking of the time frame that it's in, who the character is as far as we know, et cetera, et cetera.
And they've still called this like a gangster film set in the 80s. So that's one thing we're still not seeing is that kind of mob that he ends up building or coming across, or we don't know what we're going to see out of this, but it does seem to be like we're getting these shots of the Joker already. There was one awesome meme that I saw, and it had the Heath Ledger Joker on the left side. It had Todd Phillips' Joaquin's on the right, and it said when player 2 chooses the same character.
It's just a little different.
I thought that was clever.
Great.
The one I put up, and it's gotten almost more likes than any other picture that I've put up on Instagram this year, is, it's that jealous girlfriend meme where the guy looking over. And I was like, all right, so Brie Larson tried to break the internet a few weeks back with Captain Marvel. And again, I give no I'm not going to watch the movie. I don't care, but that is fucking funny of like, no, you didn't break the internet. Relax. And even the Marvel sheep were like, meh, like they tried, but they didn't. They couldn't really hype it up. So in this case, it has the jealous girlfriend, and I ended up photoshopping the Captain Marvel poster over the jealous girlfriend, and then I was able to impose the Joaquin Phoenix Joker walking in the foreground, and then the boyfriend looking over, and it's like, yeah, this is breaking the internet. People are talking about Joaquin Phoenix's Joker that is over a year away at this point, and people immediately flip-flopped on this and said, you know what, this does look pretty fucking good. Even the Marvel sheep are going, yeah, this looks great. It's like, this is what this is what, like, a real good, but because it's not tied into the DCEU, that's why you feel like you can say you're excited for it. All right, if that's your safe space, then so fucking be it. Like, we're going to be on the same side on this one fucking movie. But they're still going to find a way to, like, and they have already, of, too bad this doesn't count. It's like, all of this counts, man. It's all cinema. Calm the fuck down. I've said my piece. That's it.
That was
I'm done.
Daniel's soapbox.
And you're going to get a year of this as we lead up, by the way.
Of
but
course.
This is why you guys tune in. I mean, we're all DC fanboys for the most part, I think. Otherwise, why would you keep listening to these fucking rants every week?
The reason we're disgruntled this week.
That's right.
But that does wrap it up for our news this week. A kind of lighter week, but we had a lot to talk about. And with that, we will move into our Brocat block.
Someone, actually, Innsmouth_Tide said, why don't we change the name to The Reasons I'm Tired? Because it's normally a Leo news story.
That is accurate.
And there is a Leo news story.
There is.
But first, we ended up going to Tampa Bay MegaCon, which was, I completely forgot about. Like, I had the days already requested off, and unfortunately, they did not approve our tickets for press passes. So we ended up going, but I was like, oh shit, we got to buy tickets because it was that same week. And you had remembered before me. And otherwise I would have hyped it up more on the podcast and said, hey, if you're there, let's meet up. But it just, time goes by when you have a baby and you have the work that we both do over 40 hours. And in this case, we ended up going, and it's our first time at this particular MegaCon. I don't think we'll be coming back.
No, probably not. So part of the problem is driving in Tampa is a bitch. I do not like driving in Tampa. Like, I'm not typically a nervous driver, especially on I-4 and toll roads, but their roads were just crazy, and it was pouring rain, and I hate driving in the rain. So it took us forever to get there because, I mean, we're over near Orlando, so it's an hour and a half away, something like that.
Plus, we had the little man in the car.
Right. So we make it out there. I mean, they tried. There was some cool stuff. I think if I was going and I had money to blow, I would have enjoyed it more. But again, we have the little man, so when I go to conventions, it's, do I really want this? It's not pre-baby me who is just like, yeah, money.
Making it rain.
Woo!
What's that, the BMO coat that you got? The little jacket?
Yes, I love that BMO coat that does not fit me anymore because I had a baby. That thing was great. $50. Love that jacket.
The convention center itself, like, I did not have a big problem with. I actually thought it was a pretty nice convention.
Yeah.
I do like the Orange County Convention Center better right here in town, but this one wasn't bad. I think the setup was fine as far as here's the space. You guys do what you want with it.
I mean, it's also in typical MegaCon fashion where you had, all the vendors up front, and then you moved to the back and you had a huge space for local artists, Artist Alley, and then you have the actual comic book artists behind them, right? And then you had a separate section for the
food and
right. Well, you had the food and ones they didn't really have a big food section, but the media guests,
voice actors,
right,
and
all that kind of stuff.
My issue with the convention itself is it wasn't very big, so you didn't have a lot of aisles in the actual convention, and that's a victim of its own growth, I guess, in that if they're not selling as many tickets in 2017, they're not going to have as big a show in 2018. Right. And from what one of my coworkers was telling me is that every year it's been smaller and smaller, and the guests have not been as good either. And that's something I noticed too. When I went to Artist Alley, I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, what the hell's going on? Like, there's a lot of jewelry, local maker things, and there's a lot of like, hey, I make these chingadera things over here. And
somebody made underwear.
It's like,
just
fuck,
for sale.
man. Like, it's not even regular Artist Alley people. And we did have Ben Harvey there, which I'm like, oh shit, Ben Harvey's here. And he's like, hey, follow my Instagram and you can see some of my work. And I pulled it up. I was like, I'm already following you, actually. And I was trying to figure out, like, I know I'm getting a commission from you, and I'm just trying to figure out what character. So I'm going through his portfolio, his Instagram, and I know he does a great Black Cat. So I'm like, okay, let's why don't we do a Black Cat? I've got a Spider-Man blank cover, and I'm in between that and Sue Storm. And he tells me, well, I've never done Sue Storm. I'm like, okay, so would you be more comfortable with doing a Black Cat? I'm good either way. And he's like, no, let's do Sue Storm. I'm like, all right, it's because these artists, sometimes they flip-flop, just like fucking Alex Maleev. Like, I don't know who Silver Banshee is, and, so I'm like, whatever the artist wants to do will end up being a better product, I think.
Of course.
And he wanted the challenge of Sue Storm because he's never done Sue Storm, so I ended up commissioning him for that. And then Brett Weltell, who this is the third commission that we've gotten from him. So we've gotten, the first one was a Poison Ivy at MegaCon like 5-6 years ago. And then 2 years ago, we got the Harley Quinn when he was able to make it to MegaCon Orlando. So I was like, you got to finish the trio, man. Let's get Catwoman in here as well. And he's like, oh, show me the Harley Quinn. And I was like, here you go. This is the one you did. And he remembered the Poison Ivy as well, because he's like, oh, didn't I work that into the title with the tree? I'm like, you did, and it was beautiful. So he ended up doing the Catwoman as well this time, and we saw it today. It's complete. So we have the trio. They're both going to mail it in. But those were the two big artists that it's like, oh, thank God they're here, and I'm getting the commissions. But instead, the rest of it, it's like, I don't know, like Jimmy and Amanda were there.
Jimmy
but
and Amanda.
They weren't doing commissions. They're only there for a couple of hours on their table actually doing signings. They had a really cool $100 variant that they were selling, but it's also like $100. So,
right.
What'd you think of the vendors, at least, with the plushes and the video games?
So there were no fidget spinners, so
that phase is long gone.
Good. It was again typical convention stuff. There were a lot of really cool things that I liked. There was a lot of stuff that I wanted to get for Leo, but again, I'm not in a place where I have a lot of disposable income, right? So there were things that he liked, like the puppy cat, but we already had a puppy cat at home. He was obsessed with the Leonardo Ninja Turtle. There was a plush. Somebody also had, their tablecloth was like a Ninja Turtle blanket and had all the turtles, and he loved it. Like, he kept pointing to the turtles, and I have to tell him who they all were. So again, normal convention things that I've wanted for years. Like, I always want that set with the Dragon Balls, which I think is cool. There's always sets with Keyblades that I think are cool.
Kingdom Blades, thank you.
Whatever. So whenever I see those things, a part of me always wants them, and then the rational part of me goes, Kelly, where the fuck are you going to store it? It's going to sit on the shelf and get dusty. Like, just come to the convention and look at it and think it's cool and go on your way. Cool t-shirts. I always want a Capsule Corp t-shirt. But again, am I going to wear it as often as it's worth? I'd rather buy real clothes.
Jesus. Nerds like me are like, like I'm wearing a Harley Quinn shirt. It's like, that's not real clothes.
I mean, that's fine, but it's different for men than it is for women. Like, you wear that and you're fine. If I went out, they'd be like, nerd.
Nerd things.
I don't know.
It's 2018. Like, people like that stuff.
It's different.
It's cool now.
It's different.
I think for me, enjoying the convention was different having a baby there as well, because before it used to be something that you and I would really celebrate and share in, and And maybe it is because it is a smaller convention, but I felt like once I got my commissions, we went through the aisles once and I was like, why the fuck are we here?
Right.
Like, I had that feeling of like, all right, why are we here? Like, we had the voice of Mario there. It's like, what am I going to do?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't bring a Mario game, and I'm not,
Well,
I don't know. I don't see that anymore.
I see where you're coming from as far as having a baby, because of course everything is a different experience with a baby, right? Because my focus is 90% on him, 10%
Correct.
on everything else.
Yes.
All the time. So there's that aspect of it. But even the last few years, even before we had him, right? So I was still pregnant with him. And I think it's just because we're at the point again where we're not spending money frivolously.
Mm-hmm.
We're buying the things that we know that we're going to enjoy for an extended period of time, not Dragon Balls that are going to sit on a shelf. When we were young, I mean, you know, late teens, early 20s, we could buy that stuff because it was cool, because we had disposable income. And yeah, it sat on a shelf, but we could still open it up and enjoy it and keep going. Now my day is 100% filled with a baby and work. And, you know, when we really enjoyed conventions, we weren't working 50 hours a week. We had more time at home.
I was.
Well, okay.
That's when I worked at GameStop and Disney and the comic shop.
Yep. That
was great. I don't know how I fucking did that
much.
shit.
I worked 3 jobs at one point.
That's
I don't
true.
understand
And
it
we still
either.
like visited each other and like do energy to do whatever.
Right.
Like, let's go to downtown Disney.
When we were young. We're getting off at 9. Let's go do something.
Let's
And
go
I'm
to
like,
Magic Kingdom.
I'm getting off at 9. This is past my bedtime, you know? But we're just in a different stage in our life, I think, is the majority of it. Because even when we won't have to worry about Leo anymore, I think we'll still go to conventions and be like, oh, this stuff looks cool, but what are we going to do with it, right?
Yeah, it's one of those, like, I'm now starting to think that maybe 2 comic conventions is enough for me per year. We go to MegaCon Orlando, which you and I can go to. It's massive. I see a lot of the locals as well that I do recognize from the comic book shop, even friends as well, listeners of the show, which this past year was the most that we had ever had. But like, hey, reasons I'm broke. It's like, holy shit. So that's really neat, especially being that Florida is like our 3rd or 2nd most downloaded. I think it's 2nd most downloaded state for the podcast. So naturally, we are going to run across some listeners at the convention center, but you know, that's one great part of it. And you and I, and they have the different panels, that rooms of fucking panels in the Orlando one, which is fantastic. And they have the DC was that's the fucking problem. DC or Marvel weren't even at the Tampa Bay one, so I couldn't even see like Tom King in them. On the panels were weak. It was a lot of just, all right, sit in here and watch a DVD, or there's the Lego room, which was kind of neat for Leo, but it's like MegaCon Orlando has that plus the professionals, right? So that's what was really missing. It wasn't a comic convention for comic professionals. It was more of like a diet convention, a good convention for people that have, this is their first one.
Right.
And that's not saying like, oh, this is for you. Like, no, this is like lighter and it's smaller.
I mean, you can tell it's a newer convention.
That might be another thing.
One thing I will say about it, and I guess this falls into it being a newer convention, is it felt much less organized than MegaCon Orlando. So like when we were trying to get in, you have to go upstairs. Obviously we have a stroller. I can't get upstairs or escalator. So I ask a guard, I'm like, do you have an elevator close by? And he just goes, yes. Okay, can you direct me to your elevator nearby? I don't know. Maybe that's the service industry in me. Like, I don't answer questions that way because I understand what the person is trying to ask. So there was that. The convention center parking lot was closed. So
that was a fucking mess.
Did you not expect this many people, right? And then they just started closing off random roads around there. And Tampa's all one way. You can't, find parking anywhere. So it took us probably 20-25 minutes to find a parking space, and then we had to walk half a mile. We got the family pass, and you went in and they scanned the family pass and handed us one wristband. Okay, and we walk in.
We're like, okay, I guess we get in with I thought it was like a special colored wristband of 2 and 2.
And then we walk in, and she's like, where's your other wristband? You got to go back. You all have to wear a wristband. So then we had to walk all the way back, and she goes, oh, I don't accept family passes over here. You have to get in this line over here.
It's like I fucking told you it was a family pass. Right. I told her.
So.
Like, that's one thing that I also try because I work in retail, I try not to assume that they're idiots. Right? But it's like, all right, maybe we should have spelled this out. But then I'm the asshole. So either way, there's no winning. So that ended up happening. You're right. It's fine. Like we won't go again, and that's okay. We'll stick to MegaCon Orlando, and I'll try to go to C2E2 in Chicago every year because that is my favorite one. that's where Mr. Riggs always points out, like, all these guys know you. Like when our Balthazar's like, hey man, or Dustin Wynn, like, I know this guy. Like, you know.
Is he going to be there this year?
I don't know. If he's listening, let us know, Dustin. I still got to get him on the show, but he's I don't know. He doesn't like going on podcasts.
Then just get him on the phone. He doesn't have to be on the show. I just want to talk to Dustin Wynn.
One day we will, maybe. Hopefully.
My heart.
The last bit of the Brokehead block you wanted to talk about is Leonardo, and apparently his favorite movie now
his favorite movie is Moana, but only the first half of Moana up until the chicken screams on the boat, and then he's done.
You said right when Maui.
It was Maui, and now it's moved up to the chicken screaming on the boat. So he loves it. I put it on, and he sits and he's like entranced.
That's true.
And he just watches, for the most part, he'll watch the first half of the movie. But it's only the first half. So if I want to keep him entertained, as soon as he loses interest, I have to restart the movie, right? So this means I cry over Mama Moana and Grandma Moana 4 times a day, at least.
I was going through the previews catalog, and it's like, I haven't heard from Leo in a while, and I look over again, and he's still, like, looking at the fucking TV, and it's like, and you try to distract him by, like, giving him kisses.
And he pushes me out of the way, and most of the time I have to pop him a bag of popcorn, and he will just sit there, watch TV, and eat popcorn, and I don't even understand it. I've tried to put on, I was like, maybe it's the music, maybe he likes things, so I tried to put on Hercules, I've tried to put on Coco, doesn't want any of it. It's got to be Moana.
Well, tomorrow, Leonardo and I, because tomorrow's the day with Daddy Man, we're going to try to watch Batman the Animated Series, maybe Superman the Animated Series, and we'll see what happens.
And then you're going to end up watching Moana.
Hell no.
That's what
we'll go to Comedians and Coffee instead.
But he still crawls around with Comedians and Coffee. He just, Moana.
Whenever I start Comedians and Cars getting he likes the car part.
Right.
That's the part that he's like,
and that's
ooh.
why I'm thinking if you put on the movie Cars, he'd probably enjoy it because it's colorful and cars. But it's interesting because I did post on Facebook about him only liking the first half of the movie, and like 2 other moms chimed in with, yeah, that's the only part my kid watches too.
It's bizarre.
Yeah, and they watch the first half and then, or that first 20 minutes, however long it is, and then they're done.
I think it's because the tone changes once she goes on this journey.
I think it is too, because you have, the very, I guess you'd call it tribal music in the beginning, where once you get to Maui, it's weird music.
More modern.
Right. And then you also have babies in the beginning. So my mom was saying, because I was talking to her about it, she's like, he just has a crush on Moana, and then he sees Maui, and he's like, I'm done.
Get out of here, The Rock. My name is Dwayne Johnson now. Shut up, The Rock.
But can I tell you, like, I hyper-analyze everything. It's my new school bus, right? So I'm watching the mom the whole time, hyper-analyzing everything that she does. And, I think that she's dissatisfied with her life.
The mom?
Yeah, because she says sometimes the thing that you want to be isn't what you always get to be. And I'm like, I want to find out more about your mom, Moana. Tell me about your life.
I think that represents their whole culture. I think because they're all supposed to be these navigators, and they're not doing that. They're settling. And I think that's the issue with the whole message of the movie, because at the end they all move on, right? So
away, nothing in Moana. I saw a funny meme or a funny tweet about Moana, because I guess moms were complaining that their kids can't sing along because the song's in another language. And so somebody tweeted, like, you know how you fix that, Brenda? Just teach them to sing like we do in The Lion King. Like, we don't even know what that fucking is, but we sing. It's perfect.
So that was The Reasons I'm Tired, as _Tide founded.
Leo slept all night last night, so I'm not tired. I'm sorry, continue.
So half. Let's head into our Patreon shoutouts of the week, the people that make this possible. Let's kick it off.
First up, we have Jordan, whose Twitter handle is @Alsuelak.
You got it. Nailed it.
I did it.
Alsuelak.
I'm so proud of myself. You can also find him on the One Up Me podcast.
He's been putting up Diablo 3 Let's Plays on the channel. If you just search on YouTube, One Up Me Podcast, and you will find the other videos that they have done. I think they put up a Spider-Man one as well. Might have been on their Twitch. But either way, they also have a video game podcast that they put up every single week. On that same RSS feed, they have One Up Me News. So that's another one that you can get your video game news on with.
Next up, we have @InSmouth_Tide.
he had this tweet review. So if you like comics, if you want more reviews out of your life, you better follow at @insmouth_tide. He puts up the new comic book day pictures every single week, and he tweeted out, quote,
Doomsday Clock is like a roller coaster ride. The first 6 issues are being strapped in and slowly ascending before that first big dive. The last issue seemed like we may have crested the top of the hill, but this issue confirms that we are plummeting into a thrill ride to come. End quote.
You just read the latest Doomsday Clock today.
I did.
Do you agree with this?
Yes. It's very true because it's still very true to the Watchmen previous comic, right? The format, all that stuff, like we've mentioned. But yes, we're going and going and going and going. And then, yeah, it does feel like we're right at the top and things are about to go, oh shit. Like, by the end of the book, it's like you're looking down and you're on that fucking Busch Gardens 90-degree drop bullshit.
Like, you know the direction now that you're going in. You have the setup. You got answers. Not all the answers. We still don't know why we kind of do know why Dr. Manhattan created the New 52 universe. We haven't seen it happen, and I don't know if we need to, because we can just, you read the one Flashpoint, but also the Doomsday, it wasn't Doomsday Clock special, Rebirth, the DC Rebirth special, and that kind of gives you a good vision of that. The Button, the 4-part issue series, gets you a good vision of that, but this is more or less Manhattan explaining everything in a sort of, from his point, enough information that they need to know. Because that's the way Manhattan works and processes. You also get more motivations from Ozymandias. You see what the first thing that Batman says to Dr. Manhattan, he backglares him, of course, because it's fucking Batman.
That's what you do.
You get the fight, because we've been promoting it ever since before they even started issue 1, and that's because of the way that Jeff Johns, Dan DiDio have talked about this book, and that they said this is pessimism versus optimism. It is Dr. Manhattan versus Superman, 2 ideals. And that's where we're finally seeing this happen. We're seeing the beginning of the unfolding that is Doomsday Clock, which is at its core what looks to be the different ideals of even comic books. I think that might be what Jeff Johns is kind of putting forth in this, of the negativity of comics and the positivity, and they're each represented. And both readers are enjoying and buying comics, but we're seeing that fight on these pages, and I think it's going to be epic. I can't wait to get the next issue.
Our next shout out goes out to Elizabeth, whose Twitter handle is @eplifts.
She tweeted out and quoted the latest DC Daily tweet from DC Universe by saying, quote, "I protest. I mean, I watched it and enjoyed it. What's not to love when Tom King is being interviewed? But on Twitter, I stand in solidarity with you and Kelli, demanding you be seated on the DC Universe," end quote.
It would be great. We would be awesome. I'm still waiting for that phone call.
It's like I said, I quoted the DC Daily and I said, we're not on this, just so you guys know. We're not in this episode.
We're available.
FYI.
We're free. Just give us that call.
I also noticed that Previews started doing their own like video segment, and I see like the 2 hosts, and it's like, come on, man, we're colorful enough. We can be on this shit. I'll talk about Dynamite. You can talk about Hellboy. You get a paycheck. How much do you love Red Sonja all of a sudden?
Love Red Sonja. She's the best. How many zeros on that paycheck?
How about the BPRD?
Yes.
How about Spider-Geddon?
Love it.
The greatest. Buy it all.
It's the best.
Also, shout out to the Reasons I'm Broke and the Brokettes of always.
Spider-Geddon is the reasons I'm broke.
You look at the camera like that. Final shout out goes out to our latest Patreon backer. Goes out to Josh T on Twitter @Drips1963. And he is, as he said to us on Patreon, he was, the podcast was pointed out to him by Neil @NMAT68. So thank you so much, Brocat Core, for spreading the word. And welcome, Joshua, to the Brocat Core. You'll find that we have the best fans. Like we really do. And you are now a part of it. And thank you so much for joining us, not only on downloading the podcast every week, but also backing us on Patreon. I know you don't tweet too often, but if there is something that you want us to talk about each month as we give you your shout out, definitely let us know. More than happy to do it. And that goes to all of our backers as well.
We also want to give a shout out to Jose at decalavenue.com for helping us with the reward at the $5 tier.
We also want to point out this week, thereasonsimbroke.com. Click on merch, and you will find t-shirts that you can wear to represent the Brokehead core. All kinds of designs up there. You can choose the different colors. Whatever you see represented up there is not the color you get. That's just the default that we chose based on the design and based on the rest of the gallery. Once you click on that link, you can choose the art style. You can choose the color. You can choose the fitting as well.
The type of shirt. They're men's and women's. Yep.
Exactly. And toddlers and babies and everything. And all of those proceeds go right back into the podcast, goes right back into future designs, which right now I have about 6 new designs on bay, ready to release throughout the years.
You gonna be working on that ugly sweater soon?
No.
Christmas is around the corner.
I think I've given up on that one. I don't know.
I think you have.
We'll see.
If you too would like to be a Patreon,
A patron?
If you too would like to be a patron, you can head over to patreon.com/thereasonsimbroke. For as little as $1 a month, 25 cents an episode, you too can have your shout out every single month.
Let's go into our second to last segment this week, the comic book highlight for the week.
This is Heroes in Crisis, number 1 of 9. It's written by Tom King with art by Clay Mann, and the colorist is Tomu Mori.
People were very curious about this. It's not really an event book. It does stand alone, and people have been asking, so is Batman depressed in this as well because of what's happening with Catwoman? And I'm like, ignore all of that. Ignore what's happening with Mr. Miracle. Ignore what's going on in the rest of the DC universe. This is, as evidence with DC's history in comics, a standalone story, and that's why their trades they sell so well. I know. I fucking fell for that. Stuff like The Killing Joke and Forever Evil and Brightest Day and Blackest Night and Flashpoint all stand on their own because they are good stories. And hopefully this is the beginning of another one, which so far it is.
I definitely agree. It's not what it seems in the beginning, right? You think it's following one path. It kind of leaves you on the edge of your seat the whole time. And I don't want to give it away because I think it's a great story. I don't want to spoil this for anybody who wants to jump on and read it. But it was very much not what it seemed, and it took it in a really, I won't even say fun direction because it got me in my heart. I was like, oh man, you're going to make me read this? But it very interesting, exactly like I said, I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry, but not what it seems. Keeps you on your toes the whole time, and in the end, you want to keep going. You need to find out more.
It does set up a picture, as you mentioned, and then there's that twist of, wait a minute, the heroes are not really, and then the villains might be there's that representation between these two characters.
Yes, and you don't know what it is. I mean, is it really that this really happened? Is there more at play behind it? Obviously, there's probably more at play behind it.
And the book is kind of interjected with these different confessions or these different problems and issues that these heroes in the DC universe have had. And they're not, it's not Superman and Wonder Woman. It is, like Speedy, for example, Booster Gold. And you're seeing them kind of confront the reader, the camera, with their issues and their very real human problems as you do explore these possibly alive or dead characters. Like, you don't know what's really happening. And the internet did freak out about this issue because they saw the deaths that happened and that were set up in this and immediately went towards the negative. But it's like, guys, it's comics. Again, it's always comics. Like, let's serve the story.
And again, I feel like they didn't, maybe I missed it, that they really didn't confirm the deaths. So this happened, but they never said the word dead.
I guess so.
For most of them.
You do see bodies that Superman and the Justice League.
You do, but you don't really know.
Even if they are, it's fine. Like, they can come back and all of this can be undone. Just tell a good story, and so far it seems like Tom King is able to tell his. Clay Mann, who, say what you will about what we thought of his convention appearance at MegaCon this year, the art is gorgeous. It's a beautiful fucking book.
I will say this is the first time in a long time that I've seen Harley Quinn and really liked the way that they made her look.
I agree.
And I think I feel like they changed her face where it's still obviously Harley Quinn, but a softer version, I guess, a different, more relatable version of Harley Quinn where I feel it's more like my Harley rather than the direction she's been going.
Yeah, she's not drawn. And it's because it is a more serious story, but even the way she's written, she's not as cartoony as you do get in the ongoing. And it is more like the psychiatrist, Harleen Quinzel, kind of mixed better with Harley Quinn, and that's what we got in this story. She serves as the voice of reason in an odd way to this very first issue of Heroes in Crisis. I know Tom King said he wanted to explore PTSD with this, and that is that setup with that first character that we seem to be kind of anchored to with this first issue.
I really like the way they drew him, too. It's the first time that I've been like, oh, yeah, handsome. So I recommend this book. You recommend it as well?
Yeah, it seems to be coming out once a month, 9 issues long, and I'm in. We are in. I know I joked with Tom King on Twitter, like, issue 9, they're not really in crisis because of fucking Batman 50, and that could still happen. So beware.
It could, yes.
So with our comic book highlight, add that to your sub. We recommend it. I think you'll enjoy it. It's a very solid read. Same with Doomsday Clock. As we said before, it is truly ramping up, and Innsmouth_Tide as well seems to be recommending it. We're going to go into our second interview with Dwight's Comics. They've been on the show in the past. They are a comic shop based in Schaumburg, Illinois, which is where I sort of grew up in. I was born in Chicago, moved to Algonquin, moved to Schaumburg and Hoffman Estates and many suburbs in that area. But Dreamland Comics was my home store, my comic shop for many years. And recently, within the last year, they have shifted into Dwight's Comics. So it went from Dreamland, which they're now an online presence, and shifted into they sold the store over to Dwight, who has since been operating the store, has moved to an all-new location. So to me, I visited them this summer. Great crew. The comic shop still felt like but they're doing their own thing as well. They're kind of rearranging some things. And they now have a new location that they have since moved to. And all of that is coming up in this interview with Dwight's Comics. So that's where we're coming from. If you saw that last episode, if you heard it, we're getting the return of Dwight, plus the debut of some of his staff members.
This is where I sign off, though, Brokettes. So thank you so much for tuning in. I am Palpa Kelli.
And I am Darth Vader Daniel.
And all will be well.
And welcome to the comic book highlight portion of today's podcast. And there is nothing better than, sure, we've got comic book reviews, we've got the movies we do every now and again, but there are industry guests as well, and we have returning guests here today, and all new ones, all from Dwight's Comics. We've got Dwight, Sarah, and Chad on today, returning on the Reasons I'm Broke podcast. How are you three doing today?
Wonderful.
Good.
Yes.
It's awesome to see that not only... So first off, I do want to say I was able to come in this past summer and actually formally meet the whole crew, which was really exciting to me.
Yeah, we enjoyed having you come by. You need to do it again.
Oh, I will. Every year I will come up, but it seems like now there's going to be a whole new store. There is a new store that I will have to head to. You recently moved over to 2307 West Schaumburg Road, still in Schaumburg. What is this, maybe 5 minutes from the old location?
Not even. We're about a mile and a half from the old location. We're on the same street, on the same side of the street. We're just a little further up. The way we tell people locally is if we are directly behind the Dunkin' Donuts. And that, we'll talk about all of the reasons I moved, but the number one reason I moved was because I'm directly behind the Dunkin' Donuts. Let's be honest. But no, it was a lot of people were concerned when I announced that we were moving it. We were going to move to a different city or doing all that. I said, nope, we're just moving up the street a little bit. That was all.
Yeah, very brief background. You had taken over from Dreamland Comics, which was the comic shop that I grew up with. And then we had you on the show and we talked about Dwight's Comics and the transition that was taking over and opening up a comic book shop named Dwight's Comics, having crew on there and learning or really grasping new comic book day shipment, ordering, and all of that for the new readers and the existing readers that you were taking on from Dreamland Comics. And now that we have, what is this? It's got to be over a year later now, right?
I wish it were, but it's only been 6 months.
It's only been, it feels like so much longer.
Yes, it does. But, we took over on March 1. So it's only been a little over 6 months. Yeah. So
going right into the holidays. So that's really exciting. And,
gosh, yes.
I'm glad you made the move right before then too, because now it's going to be, you're going to find a lot of shoppers that are discovering your store for the first time still. I'm guessing even now you're getting a lot of first timers that are the first time at Dwight's Comics, but you're going to make that special experience and that spot for the holidays when they remember December. Where do I get my comics? Where do I get my statues, my Funko Pops? Oh, that's right. That place we went to for holiday shopping last year. You're going to gather up those yearly shoppers and then your regular Wednesday warriors, your weekly regulars. And what has it been like for the whole crew moving one store and over to breaking it all down and moving over to an all new location?
Well, I would tell all of the horror stories, but I'm going to actually let Chad and Sarah share some of their experiences with the move. Sarah?
No, it's difficult because when you break it all down and you do a slow transition, which what we did, which was nice, is you have to figure out, okay, what inventory can go over right away. So like we have some of the back issues. We can shut down back issues, move them over, get them organized, and start putting the store together over on the other side, and then still have the other location kind of working. So it was difficult, but we tried to make it as smooth as possible. I'm trying to think, because
my biggest concern with the move was not inconveniencing any of the Wednesday Warriors.
Yes.
And so what we did was we decided to move on a Wednesday night. What we had done was we had closed the store after the last warrior left, and we pulled an all-nighter. We packed up everything and we moved it so that we opened the new store Thursday morning. Was it chaotic? Oh, by all means it was. But the customers didn't see any of the behind the scenes. They didn't see how the sausage was made. Mm-hmm. They came in Thursday morning and the store was open for business. Now there were boxes and stuff around, and I have to give all of our customers credit. They didn't really give us a lot of grief about that, and they were understanding about the move. But yeah, we did not lose a day's business during the move. Chad, you were here a lot during all of that time. You haven't spoken yet.
Yeah, it was stressful. Stressful and tiring just because of the sheer amount of stuff we had to move, and just stressful because we had to do it in a certain time limit. So it gets pretty hard.
And did this include putting together the furniture and putting together the display cases as well, all overnight?
No, that the display cases and the shelving units and all that we had put in prior to. Mm-hmm. We had the space available to us about a month before we actually did the move. So we did all of the setting the counters and doing all of that stuff prior to. So that night, all we had to do was move the actual physical books.
That's where the slow move comes in.
Right.
Prior to. So we slowly moved the
back issues and all. Yeah, the non-essential stuff we had moved prior to. It's just that night was all of the current issues and the cash register and those kinds of things so that we could open the next day. No, there was been no way that we could have moved the entire store in a night. That wouldn't have happened. They would have all left me and I would have been just Dwight's Comics.
Change it to Dwight and his comics.
Dwight and his comics. And one of the jokes I did tell a lot of the people that were asking about it was I did not know how much stuff I had until I had to move it. We had a ton, literally, I believe, of books. You know, when people talk about a ton, they're not talking literal. I'm talking literal. We had a couple of 1,000 pounds of books to move. It was an interesting experience that I don't think any of us want to replicate anytime soon. Yeah, let's not do that. But it was an experience. We all got through it, and I'm excited to be in this location because one of the main reasons we left the old place was because the mall that it was in was just dying. There wasn't any business there. There was us, a pizza parlor, and a liquor store. And that didn't seem to speak to the clientele that I was trying to bring to the store.
Right.
The new mall that we're in has a very active presence. there's a lot more foot traffic here. So a lot of people who are going to, let's say, the eye doctor right next door, they'll say, wait a minute, that's a new place. Let me go in and check it out. And they'll come and walk in, and they'll see that we're an actual comic book store. So they'll come back with their kids or their grandkids, as the case may be. So we're definitely getting a lot more foot traffic, which actually helps out our bottom line. So yes, it was a good move.
Well, plus being behind a Dunkin' Donuts, I mean, that's already friends of what you're going for anyway, discovering your store, right?
Absolutely. People come in with their powdered fingers and their cups of coffee, but that's okay. I'm tolerant of those things as long as you don't touch my books. We're good. No, I'm kidding, but yeah, it does. It definitely helps our clientele. A lot of people who are sitting, having a cup of coffee will look across the parking lot and say, "Hey, that's a new bookstore," and then they'll come in and say it's a comic book store, and they're really excited then. So, yeah, it's great.
So let me throw this question at Sarah and Chad. 6 months in now into working in a comic book store, aside from the move and everything else that came with that, what have you found to be the most surprising thing about working at a locally owned comic shop? We'll start with Chad, since we haven't heard too much from you.
Honestly, the most surprising thing is just the sheer amount of people that still read. I originally thought that a lot of people would be turning to digital media, but I've surely been surprised, and gladfully so.
Yeah, it seems like digital media is more of the gateway to physical books and to discovering more books that they then buy at the physical store.
Right. And I mean, being like me myself, I collect physical media all the time over digital. And it's just I can't do it the other way around, because like I have to have it like in my hands in order to actually enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely, what's the word?
Beneficial.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like a pleasant surprise about the readers and the comic world in general, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like even
have
you guys found that even kids are coming in and buying kids books, and it's like they're not stuck to their iPad or their phones. They're actually going out there and enjoying comics just like their parents or guardians are.
Yeah, we do get quite a few kids. You get the younger kids who come in with their dads, like, "Hey, can I get the Scooby?" And they're like, "Sure, why not?" So it's cool to see that, like, handed down, like, hopes and dreams that I have for my kids. Like, you want to read comics too.
I know you were directing it towards them, but I want to interject. The thing that I have found most surprising is the amount of women that are coming in to buying comics. When I was younger, it wasn't so much a girls thing. It was all of the high school age boys were buying comic books when I was coming up. So it's been a pleasant surprise to see a lot more women not only interested in books, but interested in specific books. It's not any particular genre. I have one of our regular customers who's huge on Thor. She says she's been reading it since she was a girl, and there's others that are coming in asking for different titles, and it's been a pleasant surprise to me to notice that.
Yeah, that's 51% of everyone's market that everyone should be hitting, and we are seeing that especially from the independent side, books that are hitting marks that weren't being catered to 20 years ago.
Yes, and I think the industry as a whole is all the better for it. It forces the writers to try and come up with more titles that are people friendly, as opposed to this is what's just going to appeal to young boys. We are all inclusive now, and so yes, writers have to come up with stories that are a little more cerebral as opposed to more action oriented. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, it's great for everybody. And then, if the female person is the one reading the books in the house, and she'll bring her partner in, and then they get involved. And yeah, it's a wonderful thing. I love it.
Yeah, that is an amazing surprise and an amazing direction that comics. It's great for everyone that comics are there is a book for everyone out there. And Sarah, did you want to answer as well what has been the most surprising thing for you working in a comic shop for a little over 6 months now?
Actually, surprisingly, Dwight stole my answer. I definitely like the female market. Back when I was reading books, even in elementary school, you would get made fun of. It was a boys' thing. So now having females come in, I have a Thursday regular who we sit and have a conversation for a half hour about like comic books and what she's reading and what I'm reading. And it's like, we don't have to hide anymore. It's like we're just chilling in a comic book store.
Yeah, everyone is kind of celebrating their shared hobby. And what a better place to do that than at a comic book store.
Absolutely.
With next month, we've got the foil covers coming up for DC. We've got Walking Dead Day, Halloween Comic Fest. October is going to be a huge month for comic shops throughout the world. Now, what do you guys have planned for the month that is every day is pretty much Halloween? I know, Chad, I think you said you were big on horror books, right?
Very, very big on horror books.
You must have seen the previous catalog for next month is just crazy on horror books.
Oh yeah, no, I'm excited as all hell. Speaking of which, wasn't there a Hellboy book coming out too?
I believe so. It was the BPRD, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for that. And God, that just reminds me about the new movie getting pushed back too. But yeah, definitely excited about that. I think I'm dressing up that day in costume.
Yes,
I thought we all were.
Well, the owner's prerogative. I don't think I'll be dressing, but the rest of the staff for Comic Fest will be in costume. We're going to have some prizes for the youngsters and obviously some free comics to give away. Walking Dead Day, there might be a zombie or two in the store. There's all kinds of things. You're right. There's going to be all kinds of horror books. Unfortunately, that was never my genre growing up. So I have to defer to Chad and whatever he thinks is going to be appropriate in the store. So I'm a little nervous, actually, about what's going to happen here.
Be afraid.
But no, it's I think it's a great thing. The Comic Fest. Free Comic Book Day was, as I'm sure you're aware, one of the busier days in all stores.
Oh, yeah.
And Comic Fest is coming up to be the second. And anything that gets people in the stores and getting them reading, I'm excited for. Not just as a retailer, but as a lifelong reader and collector myself. If I can get more people to read comics, then it's all is right in my world.
Yeah, I do like that the publishers are creating these events for us, and then it's up to the retailers to really celebrate it, talk it up, hype it up. We're getting these opportunities to get the people in the store. We just had Batman Day, which was yet another excuse to, hey, let's celebrate the hobby. Come in dressed as your favorite Batman or comic book characters and get some free Batman Day comics, even some leftover from Free Comic Book Day. You missed out on Free Comic Book Day, get some of these. So it seems like the publishers are now more than ever really kind of empowering us with the tools to create events throughout the year.
Absolutely. Take example, Walking Dead Day. I am not a huge fan, but of course I'm familiar with it because everyone is. And so that cross promotion to get people into reading the books and talking about it. And once we get them in the store and they're talking about Walking Dead, was like, oh, well, if you like this, then maybe you'll like this. Or if Walking Dead isn't your cup of tea, then we have all of these other things that we can get in. One of the great things about my staff is that they are able to talk to customers about things other than what they thought they were coming in to ask for. If you have a particular oh my goodness, English is leaving me. If you have a particular thing that you're interested in, we can probably find something else that might pique your interest. A particular writer, a particular artist, a particular genre. It's great. This time in comic books is great for diversity of character. There's if you like something, there's probably a comic book out there for you, and we can probably put it in your hands.
Have you guys found that the customers that are coming in, whether they're regulars or, for the first time showing up, that the TV shows and the movies kind of inspire them to dip their toe into the world of comics and say, hey, I just saw, the latest movie, or I just caught up on this TV show, and I'm wondering what inspired that. Have you guys found that it's still the case with a lot of people coming into the store for the first time?
I know, I definitely think so. Well, take Infinity War, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how many new people came in and were asking for Infinity Gauntlet. Like, hey, do you guys have the trade for this? I really want to read what's kind of linked with the movie. And yeah, there's tons of those people coming in. I'm trying to think of some other ones that came out that would. I know I've had a few people asking for anything Shazam.
Nice.
Oh God. Well, that movie is going to be great.
Mm-hmm. Captain Marvel's getting a lot of attention now.
Even with Spider-Man in the video game, right?
The Spider-Man video game. Yes.
Gallery statues of Flash and Aquaman.
Right. So those movies,
Justice League.
no matter what you thought about them, and people have very strong opinions, there's still some interest in there on the books and the statues. So, yes, the more that these movies are popular, the more it cross promotes to books. People want to get the source material, and I love talking to people who just left the latest Marvel movie and was looking for that book, and to tell them, well, they didn't really get all of the information right from the book to the movie, but here's the actual book that it came from. You draw your own conclusions. It is wonderful.
Yeah, I feel like that is the movement, and that's what we're getting a lot of as well. I got to tell you, I went up there, I visited your old location, and I can't wait to see the new one. But to anyone in the Schaumburg area, Hoffman Estates, if you want your comic shop, if you didn't know that there is an amazing comic shop in your area, Dwight's Comics, what kind of program do you guys offer for anyone that's like, you know what, I want to keep up on, Batman Damned, for example, or Infinity Wars that is releasing now, or whatever the latest series is. I want to keep up on these things, but I don't always have the time to look up the release dates, but I'd like a pull list, something to put aside for me. What kind of perks do you guys offer for anyone trying to start a subscription, or even trying to reserve the latest Funko Pop or the latest, PVC statue?
Well, the easiest thing I tell people to do is to come to the store and fill out a subscription list. For those that do that, we give them an automatic 10% discount on their weekly pulls. And if they come in and they happen to go walk the racks and see some things that they want and they bring those up too, we'll give them 10% off of those as well. As far as the statues and those kinds of things go, what I recommend a lot of people do is come and get a copy of previews.
Yes.
If they go through the previews and they see the latest Batman Who Laughs statue, which, by the way, is gorgeous. Mm-hmm. But if they want one of those, bring the previews up to me, and I will order it for them. If we get enough of them, Diamond cuts us a little bit of a speed thing, but not a lot. So I tell people, especially on statues, you got to have a little patience with us. It's not us; it's Diamond getting them to us. We've been running a sale on graphic novels that I think we're going to continue. If you buy one, you get another one at 50% off. And usually, when I tell that to people, they'll come up with the latest Saga trade. But if I tell them that, well, now they're going to go get another trade that maybe they weren't thinking about, or maybe they said, well, I didn't have enough money for that. So that seems to work out very well, and it puts another book in people's hands. We are constantly running different sales. I tell everyone they should follow us on social media. We have a Facebook page. We have Twitter. We're also on Instagram. And if people have requests, one of my staff is always following on those things. I would love to say that it's me, but I'm not all techno savvy like these young kids these days. If people are interested in anything comic book related, we either have it or we can get it for you, and we can probably get it to you at a very good price. I'm excited to put books in people's hands and toys and statues. I wish that there was these kinds of things available to me when I was a kid. I'm reliving my childhood through all of these people that are coming into these stores. I joke with the staff every Tuesday. For us, it's like Christmas, because we get the boxes in to set the racks, and we're opening these boxes and there's all these new books, and it's really excitement here every Tuesday night. We do our live Facebook video telling people what we're excited about, and every Tuesday they see how happy we are and how excited and how much fun it is. And I can't think of a better job to have than to give and sell fun to people. It's the best job in the world.
You can't put that any better than that. That is perfect. Have you found that the Facebook Live videos on Tuesday nights from any one of you three, have you found that people do comment with pre-ordering things, or even the next day, like, hey, I saw this on the video. Do you guys still have that?
Yeah, we get comments all the time like, oh, hey, I see you have such and such issue. Can you put that off to the side for me? Or they see the variant. Or even we post on our Instagram page or Instagram story as we're opening the boxes to show, hey, look at the top of the box. We got this statue in. Here's that pop. And people really respond to that.
It's one of those things that I feel like every single comic shop should be doing. And if they're not, it's like, you're in the age of the dinosaur. You got to really engage with, whereas before we didn't have the tools in the 80s, 90s to from your be in contact with your clientele with something magical in their pocket. Like now they can just pop up their phone and see, oh, what's Dwight, what do they have today? Oh, that is amazing. And they can right there tell you. Like, we have all these amazing tools that I think everyone should be taking advantage of. And you guys are doing stories. You guys are doing the Facebook Lives. There's going to be links in the show notes for today's episodes on everywhere you can find Dwight's comics. But I mean, if your shop's not doing that, check out Dwight's, and you can from there check out some of the new releases, give them a follow, give them likes. If you're ever in the Schaumburg, Hoffman Estates area, give them a visit, pay them a visit. And I know a lot of, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and we even have some people that are not locals that that see the videos and ask us, well, hey, can you mail me such and such a thing, because there's no local comic book store to me. I will happily do that as well.
Beautiful.
So we're not bound by the Schaumburg area. If you're anywhere in the sound of the listening voice, we will get a comic to you. Yeah, we're happy to do that.
Yeah, I didn't want to assume and put you guys in the spot, so it's good to know that you will ship. So even better, follow them. You find something you want, you contact them, and then you guys can work something out and get it shipped out to you.
Absolutely.
So before we close out and give everyone a reminder on where exactly you're located again, readers and the Broquette Core, the listeners, are always looking for new books to read, new things coming up, whether it's a Funko, something you're excited about. So let's go down the line on each one of you. A comic that you're enjoying, something that you're looking forward to, maybe a Funko Pop or statue that is releasing that you really want, a TCG. You guys carry games as well, so any board game that you want to play, and give some recommendations to our readers on the Broquette Core that might be looking for something new. So we'll start off with Sarah, we'll go to Chad, and then close it out with Dwight.
So what I'm enjoying is I just read Batman Damned, which was awesome. Justice League Dark, I have a soft spot for it. But the statue that I'm currently loving is the Gotham City Batgirl, because I have the Harley. So I stare at it every day, and I'm just like, I want to take you home, but not yet.
And then I'm trying to think of Crowded I've really been enjoying. And it's only 2 issues in, but I wish it came out weekly because she leaves me on the edge of my seat. And the same thing with Death or Glory as well. I'm enjoying those 2 series far too much. I'm trying to think of what else. Any one of the statues here I'm always looking forward to, because they're always some bangers.
Some bangers. Okay, there's a new one. Okay, I am excited and I was pleasantly surprised by reading Heroes in Crisis today. It was an amazing read, and DC has been hit or miss with me a lot, but I am like I said, I'm pleasantly enjoying that one. And the new Justice League, that's been a good epic superhero story thing. The new Domino series by Marvel, that has been amazing. I mean, it's nothing like the character in the movie, but it's better. So if you liked Domino in the movie, come check out the comic. It's amazing. The last comic that I'm excited for is also the statue that I'm excited for. I have been reading the John Wick series. Oh my God. I'm a huge John Wick fan. And so when I saw it in previews that they were going to do a John Wick action figure with the little dog and a John Wick statue, both of those will be prominently displayed in Dwight's comics. Believe that. I'm sorry, honey. I told you I wasn't going to buy any more statues, but I'm getting that one. But yeah, so those are the things that I'm excited for. I could go down a list of stuff that I've been reading. The Executive Assistant, Iris, has always been good. Jimmy's Bastards. Fathom, the old Michael Turner series, has gotten a rebirth. But yeah, like I said, before I owned a store, I was a reader, and that hasn't slowed down at all. So yes, if there's anything comic related, again, I'd like to put it out there to the people. If you're in the area, come by and talk comics with me. I will talk to you all day. We will order any back issues that we have, and we have an extensive back issue. We have a collection. That's the word, because it was a repertoire of back issues. I have 40 some odd years worth of personal back issues, and then we've bought a couple other people's collections. So more than likely, if you've got some holes in your collection, I can probably help you out. I didn't mean to turn that into a commercial, but there you go.
No, that's great to hear. And as we said at the beginning, 2307, all new location, 2307 West Schaumburg Road in Schaumburg, Illinois. It's updated on Google, so if you're in the area and you type in Dwight's Comics, Google Maps will take you right there. And as you said, as we all said, if you are not in the Illinois area and want to get some comics or something that maybe your local store does not carry, or if you don't have a local store, follow Dwight's Comics on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere you can find them, and work with Dwight and the crew, and they will do their best to get their items and whatever you're looking for out to you.
Again, and I want to thank you so much for having us on. This has been an amazing experience. I love talking comics to people in person and over the airwaves. So this is great.
No, always happy to have you on. And honestly, from just seeing your store operate and from meeting the whole crew and seeing all the fun that you're having as well on social media in selling these comics and toys and everything else that we all love and adore. You have a good crew, Dwight, and you sound like when I met you, you're a great owner. Everything you talk about, you have the passion of that comic store owner that everyone wants to see when either they're working for that particular owner or whether they're going in there to shop and find their latest comic books. They want to find someone exactly like you, Dwight, and someone exactly like your crew at their comic book shop, and they can hear it right here on the show. I mean, you guys have that.
Well, thank you again. It's like I said, I can't fake it. I've been doing this for over 40 years. I love comics, and I honestly wish I could get more people into it. So whatever does that for me makes my day.
Yeah, I want to thank all of you so much again for your time. I know it's at the end of New Comic Book Day when we're recording this. Everyone's tired. I worked it today as well at my local comic shop. But it's always awesome to have you, very happy to have you return. And I really can't wait to see all of you next year when I come up for either C2E2 or Wizard World. We'll see. So thank you so much. And the Brokehead Core always enjoy hearing an insight to the industry, to the people really, breaking all of this product down and enjoying it along with the readers and getting it into the hands of people of all ages and everyone out there as well.
Again, thank you so much. This has been a joy to us.
All right, and thank you so much, Brokehead Core, for joining us on today's comic shop highlight with the return of Dwight's Comics. So thank you again so much to Dwight, Chad, and Sarah for joining us on today's episode. And thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Daniel.
I'm Dwight.
I'm Chad.
I'm Sarah.
And Brokehead Core, all will be well. We'll see you next week.